Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Can you hear me? Please confirm in the chat box. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so let's proceed to get into more detailed concepts of VPC. So this is a plan. So by default, every subnet is private. So this is our plan for our today's session. We'll understanding a component called Internet Gateway. We'll practically create Internet Gateway. We'll discuss what is route table, and then we'll learn how to make the subnet as public. Very, very important. And we create a web server in the public subnet and look at the behavior of the web server. We'll also create a DB server in the private subnet. Okay, so this is our plan for our today's session. So without any delay, let's move on. Start understanding more deeper concepts related to VPC. As usual, yes, before going on, let's have a quick fine. Let's move on. Okay, step one, creating a VPC. Yes, Soumya.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes. My question,
I can see
or
an
rather,
echo.
I want to have a deeper understanding on, CIDR block. What is a CIDR block?
Mhm.
And what do I say? CIDR overlapping as well. So these, I mean, I'd been studying about VPC yesterday.
Okay.
Since a few days. So I'm really confused about this CIDR overlapping CIDR block. The concept of CIDR block and what do I
You will
say?
understand once we move on.
CIDR overlapping. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Yeah. You'll understand. You have to wait for a few more sessions. Okay. Yeah, Sudhir.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Can we add multiple IP address ranges to a VPC?
No.
Okay, only on.
One series. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what if I want to increase more IPs? We
You
have
want to
to.
increase the size of the VPC? It's possible. You can change the edit the
Sorry.
VPC. Okay.
Okay, and another one is if what means we can have one default VPC, right? So what if we delete it? Why
Oh.
do we need to maintain it? So
Sorry. Where do we need to?
no, why do we need to maintain a default
The
VPC?
AWS internally uses the default VPC to manage all the AWS accounts. Okay.
Yeah, for an organization, if they are maintaining, why do we need to maintain Amazon provided VPC? We
That's the
can't.
default available. But how? Where are we maintaining here?
Okay.
Where are we maintaining here?
No, if we create our own
One
VPC,
way.
and
One
we are,
minute. 1 minute.
yeah,
Network and content delivery
yeah,
VPC.
VPC, yes,
Go to your VPCs.
yeah.
This is where we maintain. It's nothing. We don't maintain. By default, it is available here. We should not disturb it.
No,
Okay.
my question is, for an organization, they
Mhm.
will maintain their own right.
Yes.
So it
So
should
in
not.
such case, there will be one default VPC. Then will be one our VPC client specific VPC.
Oh, there will be minimum two.
Two.
Okay, yeah, got
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Here also we have when you're creating VPC, we have one VPC which we have created. And the default VPC is always existing. We should not delete the default VPC. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sudhir. Okay. Let's have one more interaction. Joshit. Joshit, good morning.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I just have one question regarding the billing. So if we were to constantly keep this VPC with like 6,000 EC2s running, how much would like it cost or like estimate?
You will not get the bill based on the size of the VPC. Okay, you will be charged only for the instances which you create inside the VPC. That is nothing but the EC2 machines which you create inside the VPC. They are getting charged. VPC is not getting charged. Okay, so no matter your VPC size is 65,000 or 256, doesn't matter. You will not be billed for the VPC. You'll be billed only for the instances which you create inside the VPC. Did I answer your question, Joshit? Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, Joshit, can you hear us? Please respond. Looks like you have some problem with your network settings. Okay, fine. So let's move on. So first step, as usual, I want to create a VPC. Okay, I want to name it as my VPC. VPC creation is a 1-minute task. And then I want to provide the IP address followed the subnet mask as planned. That's it. Not just creating a VPC. Inside the VPC, I want to create a subnets. First, let's create a VPC. Create VPC. What is the name of the VPC which you are planning to create? I am planning to create a VPC with the name my VPC. IP address followed with the subnet mask value 16. You know the calculation, so that we can have 2 to the power of 16 machines. Done with creating VPC. VPC has been created. Now you can see in the dashboard there are 2 VPCs. One is a default VPC. Anyways, we should not disturb that. And then we have our own VPC which I have created. Okay, VPC is created. Now, as I mentioned, we should not dump. Okay, so we should client maintains different types of servers like web servers, application servers, database servers. So we should not dump all the machines inside the VPC. It's always good practice to create partitions inside the VPC. These partitions which we create the inside the VPC are called as, yes, you are right, are called as what? Subnets. I will be creating 2 subnets. One subnet I want to create for the web server. And one subnet I want to create for the database server. Okay. The name of the web server, I write it as web subnet. The second name I want to name it as DB subnet. That's what I want to have. And the IP address series, 1.0 series for the first subnet, 2.0 series for the second subnet. Okay, so let's do that. How to create a subnet? In the VPC dashboard here, you can see the subnet option. How many subnets are there? These are the 3 subnets available. That means you have to understand that these are the subpartitions which are there in the default VPC. You can see here, these are the partitions belonging to the default VPC. That's fine. So do not disturb the default settings. So what I'm going on, I'm going ahead and creating our own subnets. Where do you want to create the subnet? Inside our VPC. So select it as my VPC. Next. What is the name of the subnet? The name of the subnet, what I want to provide is WebSN. And any specific availability zone you want to select it. Okay, you can select any availability zone. So I'm selecting one availability zone, and IP address followed the subnet mask value. We know that. Create subnet. Subnet got created. Okay, one subnet got created. Where the subnet got created? Subnet got created inside the my VPC. The subnet are created inside the my VPC. Next, what I'll do? I'll create one more subnet. Yes. Create subnet. Again, you want to create the second subnet in which VPC? I want to create the second subnet in the new VPC which we have created. What is the name of the subnet? The name of the subnet is DBSN. Is the name of the subnet which I want to create. I want to have it in the same availability zone. Doesn't make any difference. And IP address 2.0 series. Create. Done. So you can see here one web server got created, one web subnet got created, and the second DB subnet is created. Both the subnets are created inside the VPC which we have just created. So I'm done with creating a VPC. Next step, I have done with creating two subnets, web subnet as well as DB subnet. Okay. So this is what we already have learned in the previous session. So let's something learn new from now. By default, every subnet is private. I made this statement in the previous session also. By default, every subnet is private. By default, every subnet is private. If you want to make the subnet public, web server should be public. Because when you create an instance in the web server, anybody in the world can access the web server. Everybody in the world should be able to access the web server. That means the web server should be public. Web servers should be available to public. That means the subnet should be public. Always the web server subnet which web servers belongs should be public. Look at this. And you know the IP addresses for the subnet value, if you 5 IP addresses will be missing. You can see here 251. You already know that. Okay, that's already we have discussed. You need subnet 5 IP addresses are reserved. That's fine. Note, by default, every subnet is private. We should, to make a particular subnet public, it's a two-step process. If you want to make a subnet public, it's a two-step process. Step one, you need to enable public IP at the subnet level. I want to make the first subnet as public. I want to make the first subnet as public. First, what you need to do at the subnet level, you need to enable public IP. You need to enable public IP. So select the subnet. Select the subnet, the first subnet, actions. Modify auto assign IP settings. And enable public IP addresses. The first thing what you need to do at the subnet level, which subnet? I am the first subnet level, I am enabling public IP addresses. Done. Okay, so I have successfully enabled public IP. That is step one. Next step. Okay, next step. Clear. One more important point. Friends, when two machines can communicate to each other, let's for example, I want to, it's from my laptop. Let's say from my mobile, I'm sending you a WhatsApp message. You are receiving the WhatsApp message. How the communication happening when both are connected to internet? Communication happens when the machines are connected to internet. In the same way, from my laptop, if I open icicibank.com, let's say I want to access this particular web server. So opening icicibank.com. So where is the IPICA web server will be available inside the web server? So the request will go to the web server, and in response, I get the web page. That's what happens. Agree, isn't it? How the machines can communicate to each other only when they are connected to internet. Only when the instances are connected, when the machines are connected over the internet, then only communication happens. So you need to provide internet connectivity to the subnet. By default, you will not get it. Friends, by default, you will not get the internet access to the subnet. You need to provide internet connectivity to the subnet. How can you provide internet connectivity to subnet? So by using a component called as internet gateway. By using a component called as internet gateway. So what the purpose of the internet gateway? What is the purpose of the internet gateway? The internet gateway component is used to provide internet connection, is used to provide internet connectivity to the subnet. Okay, which subnet should have internet connection? Obviously, the first subnet should have internet connection. So what you need to do, you need to create an internet gateway. Okay, you need to create internet gateway. Internet gateway helps you to provide internet access to the subnet. So what you need to do, you need to create internet gateway. Not just creating the internet gateway, it will be attached, it should be attached to VPC. I have created internet gateway. You can see the diagram. The internet gateway not just creating, you can see it should be attached to VPC. So let's do that. Let's create internet gateway. Let's attach the internet gateway to the VPC. How to create internet gateway? In the VPC dashboard, you can see there is an option called internet gateways. You can clearly see you have an option called internet gateway. And by default, there is one internet gateway, and obviously this internet gateway is related to the default VPC, so don't disturb the default settings. So what I'm doing, I'm creating a new internet gateway. What is the name of the internet gateway? The name of the internet gateway, what I want to do is my IGW. This is the name of the internet gateway which I want to create. The internet gateway got created. As simple as that. You can see here I have created a new internet gateway. You can also see the name of the internet gateway, my IGW. Internet gateway is created. But look at the status. The state of the internet gateway is detached. So what you need to do? Look at the diagrammatic representation. The internet gateway should be attached to VPC. Yes, you are right. So here you have an option. Select the internet gateway. We have actions. There's an option called attach to VPC. And to which VPC you want to attach it to? I want to attach it to my VPC. One VPC can have only one internet gateway. 1:1 ratio. One VPC can have only one internet gateway. So I'm attaching it to VPC. Done. Now you can see it is attached to my VPC. So what I have done, I have attached, I have created internet gateway, and I also have attached the internet gateway to VPC. And you also know the purpose of the internet gateway. The purpose of the internet gateway is to provide internet connectivity. The purpose of the internet gateway is to provide internet connectivity to the subnet. Okay, clear about this? Okay. Okay, so internet gateway got created. The internet gateway is attached to VPC. Okay, now using this internet gateway, you want to provide connectivity to which subnet? Tell me. Using the internet gateway, you want to provide a internet connectivity to which subnet? I want to provide the internet connectivity to the first subnet. I want to provide the internet connectivity to first subnet. So you need to attach internet gateway to, you need to attach the internet gateway to subnet. So how, but point is you cannot directly attach internet gateway to subnet. You cannot attach internet gateway to subnet directly. That's not possible. Okay. Internet gateways cannot be attached to subnet directly. It's not possible. So you need to take help of one more component called, you need to take help of one more component called RT, stands for route table. You need to create one more component called route table. What is the purpose of the route table? Internet gateways cannot be directly connected to subnet. It's not possible. So route table acts like a mediator between the internet gateway and subnet. So what you need to do, you need to create a route table first. One end of the route table, you need to attach it to subnet. One more end of the route table, you need to attach it to internet gateway. So route table, one end of the route table, you attach it to subnet. One more end of the route table, attach it to internet gateway. So that's how connectivity happens. Route table helps in connecting internet gateways to subnet. That's the purpose of the route table. Look at this. We already have created internet gateway. Now we have attached it to VPC. Next, we cannot attach internet gateway to subnet. For that, you need to take help of a new component called route table. I hope you understood the importance of the route table. So what I'll do, I will be creating a route table. How to create a route table? As simple. Look at the dashboard. We have now, everything is very straightforward in the dashboard. All the options are available here. I'm going to route tables. Okay, so already there's two route tables. Already there are two route tables. You can see here, very important observation. The first route table is related to VPC ending with BBC. That's nothing but this is the default VPC. And the second route table is related to my VPC. That means second route table got created automatically when we have created a new VPC. That's important observation. Second route table is related to your VPC. That means second route table got created. The second route table got created automatically when we have created a VPC. The second route table got created when we have created a VPC. You can see here. Okay, but let's not disturb the existing route tables. Let's not disturb the existing route tables. Let's go ahead and create a new route table. As I am attaching the route table to internet gateway, I want to name the route table as internet RT. I want to name the route table as we are attaching it to internet gateway. I am naming the route table as internet RT. Okay. So let's have quick questionnaire before going towards concept of creating the route tables. Kalai Selvam.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Is audible?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Yesterday, I have a conversation with you, sir. Yesterday, I forgot to tell thank you for this session.
Okay. Thank you.
I was not well in English, sir, but you teaching is well to listen and understanding, sir. Very good to listening, sir.
Thank you, Shanta. Thank you for your feedback.
My doubt is VPC, sir.
Yeah.
If web server, web subnet and data subnet is separate.
If they are separate, you can see, are they connected to each other? No.
Okay. It will
now, as of now, are they connected?
No,
As
sir.
of now, they are not connected. They are already separate. Yes, no question.
Okay. Yesterday, one scenario takes the ICICI bank.
When you click on mini statement, the web server will communicate with DB server.
Yes, sir. It will
communicate. How it communicates? Is that your question?
Yes.
We'll see practically. We'll create one web server. We'll create one database server. I'll show you how exactly communication needs to be established. Right now, they are separated. Both the subnets are separated. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Amit Gautam.
Yeah, hi sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Amit.
Sir, a couple of questions. So first is in regards to the CIDR for VPC. So as you mentioned that there are 5 IPs which are reserved. So can't we keep the CIDR value to 31 or 32 as there will be allocation of 3 or 2 IPs there. So there is restriction within defining the CIDR value of VPC, right?
Yes. Now, Amit, what your question is, when I'm creating a VPC, Amit, instead of value 16, you want to provide a value something like 30.
Yeah.
Agree? That's what your question. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Maximum value is what? 32. So that value is difference is 2. 2 to the power of 2 is how much? Okay. 4. It is useless. Isn't it? Anyways, every subnet 5 IP addresses are blocked. It's practically not usable. I mean, did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So other one is
Next.
in regards to your this internet gateway part.
Yeah.
So in order to have internet access to the subnet. So is it a similar concept? Isn't it similar concept to that of DMG, which we are having in our the physical deployment of data center?
Okay. Okay. What DNG?
DMGS. So there is a specific zone which have the public facing access.
What is the abbreviation of DMG?
Data.
Okay. Okay. Now fine. Any question? Understanding about internet gateway?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Muthukumar. I can see your hand raised, Muthukumar.
Hey, hi. Thank you. I got this opportunity today.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's really a nice session. So my question here is, I was thinking like, we already had a routing table since we created an VPC.
VPC. 1 minute. You're talking about the default route table that got created when we have created a VPC.
Okay, so is that the other one you created by yourself or?
You're talking about this route table, the above one?
Yes.
This route table is created automatically for the default VPC. This is the default VPC.
Okay, second one.
For default VPC, automatically one route table get created. The second one created automatically when we have created a VPC. Okay. This route table I have not created manually. Second one. The route table got created automatically the moment you create a VPC. Okay, got it? So one route table will be created automatically, Muthukumar, whenever you create a VPC. Got it?
Okay. Okay, so why in that case why we are trying to create another route table? Is it
You can use an existing route table also.
Okay.
You can use an existing route table also. For clarity purpose, I am creating a new route table. Okay.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Shabir.
Thanks a lot, Sunil.
Thank
Any
you.
sessions.
Thank you, Shabir.
It is a great section and clear understanding. I am from Pune.
Okay. How do you got to know about our training?
From WhatsApp from my friends in a group.
Okay.
My question is that regarding the regions, what are the regions if we assign a DBSN in a separate region and web
First,
SN
no.
in
1 minute. Can you give me one example of a region?
Region like Mumbai?
Yeah. Okay, 1 minute. VPC is created in which region?
Mumbai region.
If VPC is available in Mumbai region, obviously subnets will also belongs to Mumbai region only, isn't it?
Okay.
Because subnet is inside the VPC, right? Shabir?
Okay.
Am I
Yes.
right?
Yes. Perfect. Yes. Perfect.
So that's it. Both are in Mumbai region only. Okay. Complete infrastructure is in Mumbai region only. Okay. One VPC cannot span multiple regions. Always it is specific to region only. Okay.
Region. Yes.
Next. Next
That's
question.
my question. It is a bit.
How is your learning experience? How
It is a great. It is a great. It is very much clear and easy to understand from your language.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so thank you. So let's proceed. Thank you. So one component is ready. Internet gateway is created. Internet gateway is attached to VPC. Let's go ahead. But internet gateways cannot be connected to subnet directly. So you need to take help of route table. So we have observed that there's some default available route tables, but let's not disturb these route tables. Let's go ahead and create a new route table. Let's create new route table. Create route table. Name of the route table can be any name. As we are attaching it to internet gateway, I am naming it as internet route table. Where do you want to create the route table? In your VPC, inside the VPC, right? I want to create the route table inside the VPC. That's it. Simple. A route table created successfully. So you can also see the dashboard, the list of route tables. You can see the new route table got created. Next. Next. What is the next step? We need to connect route table to subnet. I'm explaining about this part. We are connecting the route table to subnet. This part I'm explaining. To which subnet I want to attach the route table to web subnet. Okay. How to do that? Go to route table which you have just now created. This is the route table which you just now created. Select the route table, actions, edit subnet associations, and clearly mention to which subnet you want to attach it. I want to attach it to WebSN. That's it. So one end of the route table is already attached. Now attach it to subnet. Now what is the next step? Another end of the route table, we need to attach it to internet gateway. This part. Another end of the route table, we need to attach it to internet gateway. So go to the route table, actions, edit routes, add route, target. Target is nothing but you want to connect route table to what? Target is internet gateway. So target is internet gateway. And what is the internet gateway? My IGW is the internet gateway which you want to attach it to. Select that. Yes, I have attached it to internet gateway. And destination should be always 0.0.0.0 because the worldwide access, you want, there is no restriction. You want to access from all the IP addresses around the world. So it should be always 0.0.0.0. So remember that. Whenever you want to access the connectivity from the public, you should always use 0.0.0.0/0 in the destination. It's mandatory. Save changes. I have done. I have created a route table. One end of the route table I have attached to subnet. One more end of the route table I have attached to internet gateway. Now your subnet is public. Now you can say your subnet is public. Very important from the interview point of view. What is a subnet? Subnet is a partitions which we create inside the VPC. What is the default behavior of the subnet? The default behavior of subnet is private. How do you make the subnet public? So this is the process where you need to make the subnet public. First, you need to enable IP addresses at the subnet level. That is step one. Next, we need to create internet gateway because we want the internet connectivity to subnet. So you need to create internet gateway. Internet gateways cannot be attached to subnet. So you need to take help of a route table. One end of the route table, you need to attach it to subnet. One more end of the route table, we need to attach it to internet gateway. These are the steps we need to follow to make the subnet as public. Now the subnet is public. Now let's create a EC2 machine. This is what I am discussing now. Can we create a EC2 machine now inside the subnet? Yes, why not? Let's experience. how to create a new EC2 machine inside the subnet, inside your VPC. Inside the VPC, there are two subnets. I want to create a EC2 machine inside the first subnet. Okay. And it should be a web server. So you know how to create a web server. I'm installing web package HTTPD. Mentioning Google index.html file, and then I'm starting the web package. So let's launch the EC2 machine inside the subnet. So for creating EC2 machine, obviously you need to go to which service? For launching, you need to obviously go to EC2 services, instances. So do not worry about the existing instances. Do not worry about the existing instances. So what I'm doing, I'm launching an instance. As usual, I'm going with Amazon Linux. Obviously T2 micro instance. How many instances you want to create? One instance. Where do you want to create the EC2 machine? Friends, where do you want to create the EC2 machine? You want to create the EC2 machine inside the VPC. So here network is referring to VPC. You have to create the internet. You are creating EC2 machine inside my VPC. Till now we are not disturbed this, or this is the first time we are using these options. You're clearly mentioning that I want to create this one machine inside VPC. In this VPC, how many subnets you are having? You will have two subnets, one web subnet and one DB subnet. I want to create it in the web subnet. Got it? Nice, that's all. So I am creating instance inside my VPC inside the web subnet. Scroll down under advanced details. I mentioned the bootstrap scripts. Let's name the security group WebSG 29. WebSG 29, and I'm opening SSH port. What ports I'm opening? SSH port as well as HTTP port. Let's name the security group as WebSG. Anybody can connect, that's not a problem. Review and launch. Click on launch. Create a new key pair. I name it as web 29 kp. Download the key pair. Somewhere in my desktop Sunil folder, I'm downloading the key pair and launch instances. View instances. So I have created a new machine. This is the new machine, it's still pending, but name it as web server. Okay, so we have created the EC2 machine. This is how. So till now we have never experienced creating EC2 machine inside the particular subnet or inside a particular VPC. It was by default going on into the default VPC. Now we have created a machine exclusively inside our VPC. Inside our VPC, I have created a EC2 machine. And how many ports I have opened? Two ports, I hope you remember. One is a HTTP port I have opened, and I have also opened a SSH port. I have opened two ports for the EC2 machine. Meanwhile, let's launch an instance in the DB server also. Can I create a EC2 machine inside the second subnet? Yes, why not? You can create it. Definitely, why not? You can create it. So you want to create, I want to create an instance, let's say database instance. It's nothing but an EC2 machine inside the private subnet. Okay. Now, the point is the most important point. This is very, very important. Listen to this statement. I am opening an application icicibank.com internet application from my personal laptop. The request will also, as I have opened HTTP port, no problem. The request will go to web server. Okay. And I get a web page. I log in to internet banking. When I click on mini statement, let's say I want to look at a mini statement. I click on mini statement. You will get last 10 transactions. Where the information is stored, last 10 rows are stored in the database. So what should happen when I click on mini statement from the web server? The information is not available in the web server. Web server should communicate to the database server. If web server should communicate to database server, so at the database server, what port needs to be open? Isn't it? Whenever communication needs to be open, you need to open the port. So the port should be opened because the web server should communicate. Web server should communicate to the DB server. When web server can communicate to DB server, only when the port should be open. What port needs to be open, friends? How does communication happens between web server and the database server? Using MySQL port. You need to open MySQL port. Look at this. I want to open MySQL port. Okay. The MySQL port should be opened to what? MySQL port should be open. That's fine. But MySQL port should be opened to entire subnet. The MySQL port should be open to the entire subnet. All the machines which are there inside the public subnet can communicate to the database server. The MySQL port should be open to the entire subnet. Do you understand why it should be entire subnet? You may have a question, Sunil. The MySQL port, if it open to one EC2 machine, that's enough. Let's say there are other EC2 machine. Why should other EC2 machine you should open? You have to open to entire subnet because let's say you are accessing ICICI Bank, your request will go to web server. When web server is busy, we have discussed about auto scaling feature. Do you remember? In auto scaling, what happens when the traffic increases, automatically new machine gets created, and the load balancer will distribute the request to the load balancer will send the request to other EC2 machines also. From this EC2 machine also, the communication should happen to. Our understanding from this other EC2 machine also communication should happen to DB server. So that is the reason it's not specific to one machine. That MySQL port should be open to entire subnet level. So let's do one thing now. Let's create an EC2 machine inside the private subnet. That is the second subnet. Let's open MySQL port to the entire subnet range. So how can we do that? Let's experience it. Again, go to, as we are creating EC2 machines, again, I'm going to EC2 service and click on launch instances. As usual, Amazon Linux, T2 micro. Where do you want to create? Inside my VPC. In which subnet you want to create? Inside the second subnet, that is nothing but the DB subnet. Next, security group. This is very important. What port I need to open? MySQL port. This is the MySQL port needs to be open. Okay, 3306 is this is the port needs to be open. To open to what? The MySQL port should be open to entire subnet. Okay, entire subnet is nothing but select it as custom, and your subnet series is 10.0.1.0/24, right? You have to mention that series here. You have to mention that series here. The MySQL port I'm opening to /24, 10.0.1.0/24. That is nothing but maximum number is 32. You know the calculation. 24 is nothing but 256 machines. To all the machines, this MySQL port needs to be open. So I want to name the security group as DBSG29. And I open to enter the MySQL port is now open to enter subnet. Review and launch. Click on launch. Create a new key pair. DB29 key pair. I want to download my key pair in my desktop Sunil folder. Launch instances. Where is the mission? Spending. Let's name it as DB server. So I hope you have seen one machine web server is running on public subnet. The second machine is running on the private subnet. So like this, you can create EC2 machines inside the subnet, and accordingly you need to open the ports. Now look at this. What is the IP address of this EC2 machine? We have created one EC2 machine in the public subnet. Friends, focus. We have created EC2 machine inside the public subnet, right? What is the IP address of this EC2 machine? You may have questions. What's there in it, Sunil? So select that particular web server. You'll get the IP address. Yes, you can see. I've selected the web server. Look at the IP address. 10.0.1.216. 1.216. You have mentioned one series. So as you have mentioned one series, it takes the IP address of one series only. 10.0.1. It will take one random number. Need not be always start with one, but it will definitely follow this particular series. Got it? So that's how you can see this is the IP address. Okay. Next. So observe the IP address. It will always take the series what you have mentioned at the time of creating the subnet 10.0.1.0. Okay. Check the database server. We have created one more EC2 machine in the private subnet, right? So let's experience it. This is the database server, the EC2 machine which we have created. Observe, it is taking 2 dot series. It is taking 2 dot series because it is available in the second subnet. Second point of observation, it is not having public IP address. This is the first time you are experiencing an EC2 machine which is not having public IP address. It is not having public IP because this instance is in private IP, private subnet. This is by default, every subnet is private. When you create an instance inside the private subnet, it does not have public IP address. Whose responsibility to provide public IP? Internet service provider. IP addresses are assigned by internet. Public IPs are nothing but the IP addresses which are assigned by internet service provider. What is my IP? 183.83.38.140 is nothing but the IP addresses which is provided by my internet service provider. This is public IP. Even my laptop is having public IP. Your laptops are also having. It is whose responsibility to provide the public IP? It is the internet service provider. If you change the internet service, again the IP address changes. So public IPs are always provided by the internet service provider. So you can see here the DB server is not having public IP. That means there's no internet for this particular machine. This instance does not have any IP address. It does not have internet access at all. That's an important point of observation. Observe, you check the DB server. It should not have public IP. It is not having public IP because it is available in the private subnet. And the private IP, you can see 2.0 series. Fine. Now, are we able to access web server? Now, are we able to access the web server? Let's take the web server. Web server is available in the public subnet, right? I'm taking the public IP of the web server. Am I able to access the web server? Am I going to get my Google page? Yes or no? Are you able to? Am I able to access the? Friends, am I able to access the web server? Not only me, anybody in the world can access the web server. I have sent the IP address of my web server in the chat box to you, and please take the IP address from the chat box and tell me, are you able to access the web server? Even I am able to access the web server. Not only me, anybody in the world can access the web server. Take the IP address from the chat box and then write from your personal laptop. You may be in any location, but you will be able to access the web server. If you are successfully able to access the web server, please type yes in the chat box. Perfect. So now I have created infrastructure which is in my VPC, and anybody in the world is able to access. Something like if anybody in the world can access icicibank.com, and it is in my VPC, it's in my partition, it's in my control. I can define the security of it out of it. I hope you are understanding the importance of VPC. Let's move on. Let's move on. Why you are able to get the page? You are able to get this My Google page because the entire subnet is having internet connectivity. As entire subnet is having internet connectivity, you are able to get the internet. You are able to connect. Okay. Now let's have some testing scenarios. Okay. Let's detach the route table to subnet. Let's detach the route table to subnet. Do you remember route table is attached to subnet? I want to detach this. I want to detach this. Let's break the connectivity just to show you the importance of the route table. So how to remove the route table to the subnet? So go to VPC dashboard, go to route tables. So select the route table which you have created. This is the route table. Go to actions. There is an option called edit subnet associations. Edit subnet associations. It's already attached to web subnet. I'm removing the attachment to web subnet and I'm saving it. I have removed the connectivity. I have detached the route table to subnet. So again, internet gateway tries to provide internet connectivity to the route table. From the route table, there's no connectivity. So the entire subnet will lose the internet access. Now it will take few seconds to get reflected. Now, if you take the same IP addresses, don't use the same browser, open a different browser again. Open a different browser again. Don't use the same browser and open try from a different browser. Look at this. Are you able to get the page? Are you now not from the same browser? Sometimes you may get it from the history. Okay, sometimes you may get it from the history. Now, are you access the same machine and are you able to get the page? No. Please type no because you are not able to access the page because there's no connectivity. So are you understanding how exactly communication happens? From the public world, communication connects through internet gateway. Communication goes through internet gateway. From the route table, now it is disconnected, so it's not getting the page. If you connect it again, you get the page. Okay, so the page will not be loaded. Let's attach it back. Let's attach it back. Go to internet route table. Actions, edit to subnet associations. I'm attaching back web subnet. No, attach it. It will take few couple of seconds to get loaded again. Are you able to get the web page now? Previously you are not able to get the page. Again, are you able to get the web page now? Definitely yes. Got it? Now are you able to get the web page? Yes. So that's how you look at this. You are understanding practically the importance of each and every component. So all these are very, very important. Understanding the VPC concepts are very, very important. So let's stop the chat. Next, what is the next thing? Can we access a web server using PuTTY? Can we access a web server using PuTTY? Can we access it? We also open SSH port also. You can open using PuTTY. I don't need to show that. Convert the PEM file to PPK file. You can connect to the PuTTY. That's fine. Okay. Can we access the DB server from your laptop? Your point is, can we directly connect it to DB server? How to do it? Go to instances. This is the DB server. I want to connect to DB server. You have the SSH command. Copy the SSH command. For PuTTY, you need to convert the PEM file to PPK file. So even converting also, you will fail to connect. Open PuTTY gen. First, I'll convert the PEM file to PPK file. Load. I'm talking about database key pair. dbkp29.pem. Save private key. Yes. It's not PEM file, it is a PPK file. I have converted PEM file to PPK file. As I have now converted PEM file to PPK file, I open the actual terminal, that is putty. Pick up the SSH command and then not SSH, user at DNS or IP address, and then go to SSH under authentication, mention the PPK file. See, are you able to connect? You have to understand that subnet is not having internet connectivity at all. How can you connect? See, is it putty responding? No, you're not able to connect. Okay, impossible. Okay, you cannot connect to private EC2 machine when inside the private subnet. Okay, instances are in private subnet. Their internet is not available, so we cannot access it from the laptop. If you try to connect from putty also, it fails. Okay, deletion process is also important. So whatever we have deleted, we have created, you have to delete it. First terminate both the instances. Which instance we have created, one in EC2 in the web server. In the first subnet we have created EC2 in the second subnet. Let's delete both the instances. Deletion process is also important. Web server, DB server. I no longer need that, so I'm removing it. Let's wait for the EC2 machine. Please hands-on. Practice is very important. Okay. I recommend you to get the recordings. It's very nominal price of 990. But anyways, it's up to you. It's optional. And I have terminated both the instances, and I want to delete the VPC. When you delete VPC, all the components like internet gateway, route table, subnets will be deleted automatically. So when you delete VPC, the subnets will be deleted, the internet gateway is deleted, route table, all these components will be deleted. So how to delete the VPC? So go to the VPC dashboard, select the VPC, that is my VPC. Actions, there's an option called delete VPC. When you delete VPC, look at this. Database subnet, web subnet, internet gateway, everything is deleted. So remember, you make a habit of deleting after you practice whatever you have created. Okay, clear about this? So before ending, let's have a questionnaire. Okay. Vikas, good morning.
Hello.
Hi Vikas, how are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm audible, right?
Yeah, very clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay, my query is how does like we take care of the security for these instances or my VPC? Does Amazon takes care of some kind of security on gateway level, internet gateway level?
Yes, Amazon takes care of security at the internet gateway level to an extent, but we need to also have additional security layers attached to the public subnets. Okay, so how exactly we can increase the level of security to make sure that there is no hacking happens? Okay, because all this we'll be seeing in coming classes.
Okay, one more question, please. Can we also edit the sizes with our subnets? Like we can edit the sizes of our
Yes.
VPC. We can edit the sizes of
Yes,
subnets as well.
both are editable. Okay,
All right.
increase the subnet mask accordingly, the range increases.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Vikas. Dev, how are you doing?
Yeah, hi sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have few doubts.
Hmm.
So the one thing is, like in Bucket we had a cross-region replication, right? Like that can we have for my VPC also?
What does that mean? You want
I
to?
mean, like for suppose I have created some partition in AWS region, like how we create in Mumbai region. So the
We
same,
have created partition instance. You are talking about subnet,
yes,
or you are talking about VPC.
VPC.
Okay, you have created one
The
VPC in
overall
Mumbai.
setup we did in the Mumbai region, right?
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
created VPC, and
Okay.
inside that we created
Yeah.
the
Subnets
WSN and
and
DDSN.
instances.
Yeah, the whole setup need to be there in Singapore region.
Okay.
So, like that in Bucket, how we had in Bucket concept, like that is possible for my
No,
VPC
no,
also.
no. It's not possible. We have to do it manually. Okay.
Oh, okay,
So VPC subnets will be less in number, so that's okay. But EC2 machines, what you can do, you can use Amazon machine images, and then you can copy that into other region and then recreate it inside your VPC. Okay, that
okay.
solution you can have it. Okay, Dev.
Uh,
Next.
yes, sir. And one more question, sir. So, for a database guy, there is no need to connect to the web. I mean, web subnet and all. If they
You're
want to,
talking about a database administrator,
yeah,
isn't it?
that is yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. How? What is the solution? Your question is how exactly database administrators?
Hmm. Yes, sir. How the
Okay.
database
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
administrator?
coming to your point. Assuming you have a DBA.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yes.
You have a DBA. DBA wants to connect to the database and do some maintenance activity, or okay,
Yes,
or
sir.
plan patching activity. So how does DBA, as this particular internet subnet is not having internet connectivity at all, there's no possibility as of now. There isn't it to connect, isn't it? So how does the DBA? How do you provide a solution to the DBA? Is very important scenario that we'll be discussing in tomorrow's class. Hmm?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sriram.
Good morning, sir. Sir, thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk to you. First of all, thank you for the session.
Thank you, Sriram.
Sir, I had one doubt. The EC2 machines that we are creating in a subnet, is there any way to assign them a static private IP?
Yeah, we will see that also. How can we assign a static IP also?
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Kunal Namdev. Yep.
If we have more than one VPC in same region, so can we
No, no,
able
no.
to connect?
Generally, client does not need multiple VPCs in the same region. Okay, that's not required.
But is it possible to communicate
It is
between?
possible. It is possible.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so that's it for today's session. So tomorrow's concept is all about understanding two more important terminologies related to VPC, which is very important from the interview point of view. That is called as a Bastion server. What is the need for Bastion server? Why should we create Bastion server inside the VPC? There's something called jumps Bastion server, and there's something called NAT gateway. What is NAT gateway? NAT is also one component of the VPC. Why should we create NAT? What is the purpose behind the NAT? How can we provide additional level of security to the clients? Okay, all these are very important questions, so please do not miss session tomorrow. Okay, and then please go through the video if possible before coming to tomorrow's session to be more clear. Okay, thank you all and have a nice time. Bye everybody.